Coach Reed has been the hot button topic for the past 48 hours. His passionate outbursts on social media while at Bethune Cookman, talking about what all he's been doing, picking up trash with the football team, him being the coach and principal and not having a contract. And not only that, but we owe Uncle Prime an apology. Yeah, you heard me. We owe Uncle Prime an apology. We're going to talk about it right after this. You know, it's your favorite coach back at it again. 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow Live Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get all upcoming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and share these videos. And tap in the friend to tell them to come on in. It's nothing but positive vibes. We're just having a good time talking about HBCU sports. And don't forget, you can follow us on all social media platforms. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump on in this thing and get straight to it. But first, make sure you have all post notification bells turned on so that when you get this content, you get it right away and not somebody have to say, hey, did you hear about Coach? Put that new video out over there, man. That thing's smoking. No, you can get it firsthand coming straight from me as soon as I drop it. So make sure you got post notifications turned on to all. And also, if you want to support the channel, don't forget in the bar down below, you can cash app us as well as join the membership. So guys, don't hesitate to do whatever it is that you wish to do for the channel. Because like I said, everything that I do here goes back into the channel. Remember, we did scholarships last year. We did a scholarship last year. We're looking to do more this year. So guys, with you guys' help, let's collectively get together. Let's go ahead and make this thing work. But guys, we're going to go ahead and tap on in and get straight to this. Because I know you're like, okay, Coach, what's your take on this thing? How do you feel about all of this? And I'm going to be honest with you. When I heard Coach Reed complain about his office not being clean, now, that one I said, okay, I'll give you that, Coach, because, yeah, I believe the Coach Sims, if I'm not mistaken, I think he left back in November of last year. So, yeah, the office should have been clean for the next coach to come in and get started. Because, remember, Coach Ed Reed, in principle, has already missed the early signing period. So, you know he's looking to come in there and get started early so he can start getting his recruits into the building so that he can go ahead and build up his team to get out there and compete the next season. Because you already know, if he doesn't have a team that's out there that's going to compete, the HBCU stratosphere is going to climb all over Ed Reed and the Bethune Cookman football team, talking about how they don't have X, Y, and Z done. Well, listen, this here is like a two-way street. But there's some parallels here as well as far as with what we've seen in the past. Now, I got to admit, Coach Ed Reed's head coaching career has definitely started off with a rocky pitch in which now he did come back and apologize for what he said. And, you know, that's respectfully understood. But, again, when you throw all HBCUs in the pot, you got to understand folks ain't going to stand for that. One thing that you forgot to talk about, and I understand that everybody wants to keep the receipts. Everybody loves talking about the receipts. But I'll say this. Are the receipts actually adding up to what they really supposed to say on the receipt? Or are we changing them? I'm just throwing that out there. I'm respectfully wanting people to understand that when you look at this as a whole, this whole receipt thing, sometimes people can make the receipts look the way that they want them to look, not the original receipt. We've seen that happen before. I mean, don't get it twisted. We've seen some folks come out here and forge some stuff. We ain't gonna sit here and act like everything is straight lace. It's straight down the middle. It is what it is. That's what Coach try to be from time to time. It's straight down the middle, not take no sides. And that's why I'm standing at on this one. Why am I talking about this? Because I'm gonna say this. When I look at Coach Prime and Coach Reed, and yes, I'm talking about Coach Prime now because remember, I stated in the beginning that Coach Reed said we owe Uncle Prime, an apology. Well, when I look at both of these athletes, both of these Hall of Famers, they've done wonderful things out there on the football field. I'm a fan of both. And the crazy thing is when you see Ed Reed looking at a lot of stuff that he does on his social media as far as, you know, with when he was coaching over at Buffalo, as well as being I forget the actual name that he was listed as over at the University of Miami. I know a couple of athletes that played over there that he dealt with that are great kids, and they speak highly of Coach Ed Reed. So I'm like, hey, I'm not taking it away from him because his passion, it shows. He wears it when it comes to certain things, especially when it's not done in the manner in which he think or feel it should be done. Because we as, we need to take pride in everything that we do because we're not given as many others out there, that we see from, on a day-to-day basis, if you get what I'm saying. I'm dancing around what I'm trying to say. I'm going to call myself out on that, just so you know. But I'll say this. Coach Prime, he'll go into a room. He's going to make everybody feel nice and comfortable. You're going to feel nice and fuzzy and warm, and everything is just going to be just great. We're going to do it just like this or else. And he give you the or else. Let you know if you don't do it this way, then guess what? You're going to be out of here. Coach Reed going to give it to you like that. Let you know, hey, listen, we need to get this done. If we ain't going to get it done, hey, it's time to ride. And not only that, but when Coach Reed got to talk about that mutton, it took me back to when I was in college. I ain't gonna give you the time because some of y'all be like, dang, coach, was you at the Last Supper too? Boy, mutton, that word, boy, they used that a long time ago. Yeah, that was back when Poison Clan and Splat Pack was out back then when I first heard about mutton. You look at both of these athletes, they both have their own ways of massaging the room to get to where they're trying to go. And oftentimes, the message is taken in different ways, in which this way, the message was taken the way the message was not taken, it was delivered from Coach Reed. It was terrible. It was a terrible way to deliver that message. And there's a lot of folks out here that want to cancel Coach Reed because they feel that he should, become a little more educated as far as with things that goes on within these HBCU sectors that he's not quite familiar with. Kind of something similar to like they, started off telling Coach Prime when he first came in. But I'll say this. One thing I was hoping, I honestly was hoping for the next big name coach that came in to coach an HBCU sports program. They would come in with a little bit more understanding or a little bit more knowledge as far as how these institutions, many of these institutions, are very underfunded. See, that's something that I don't think Coach Prime kind of walked it out there for everybody to see. We talked about how business was done improperly. We talked about how HBCUs have been hustling backwards. One thing you have to understand is this: hustling backwards from time to time, in which some of these HBCUs may have been doing, they were doing that hoping that a bigger windfall, financial windfall that was going to drop into their lap. Not understanding the fact that the cross that they was making was a double cross, in which was going to keep them from getting to where they was looking to get. There's a lot of HBCUs out here that have land grants, in which they have not been receiving the funding from the states, which they should have been receiving. You see right now, Eddie George has stood up for Tennessee State, letting them know, hey, listen, we need this money for our institution. This money is due to us. Now, the crazy thing is, if he took the initiative to do it, that means there was no fear in letting the world know, hey, listen, I'm standing with my program. I'm standing with my institution, the same institution that hired him. Now, again, if you don't, I'm gonna show you what Tennessee State is owed by the state of Tennessee. And the sad part about it is the state of Tennessee wanted to take that money and reinvest it into getting the Tennessee Titans a new football stadium, and have Tennessee State play in that stadium as well. Wait a minute, is any of that money gonna go back to Tennessee State as far as, to help them as far as with their campus and the school, the fund, the financials that they need to keep things going, appropriately on the campus itself? No, I'm sure a lot of that money is going to end up going back to the Tennessee Titans. It's just like, hey guys, hey, y'all got a good looking stadium here to play in. Y'all be happy with that and move on. No, it don't work that way. We've been playing like that far too long. Not only that, but then here you have North Carolina A&T, who another institution has been jerked around by North Carolina as far as them receiving their land grant money that is so well overdue to them. And the sad part about it is the fact that here the state owes them money, but then want to come back and wants to penalize them because additional students from out of state chose to go to North Carolina A&T when the pandemic hit. Now I'm gonna throw this out here to everybody because I want to bring you in on all of this. Remember when the pandemic was here, you had students from around the country, high school students, high school seniors that is, trying to go take that SAT, ACT exam, and they couldn't get in there to take it. Why? Because you had people trying to come in there and take that exam, and they were sick. And guess what? They went ahead and said, hey, we're going to do away with it. We're going to do away with allowing the students to just go ahead, take their grades, and apply to go to whatever college it is that they want to go to. And if they're accepted, based on the scales that they had set up at that time, then cool, you can go ahead and go to their school. If not, then they're going to have to find somewhere else to go ahead and continue their collegiate careers. And guess what? A lot of those students went to North Carolina A&T because I'm sure they probably had the majors that they wanted to study. They had them there, and they were probably in the top 5 as far as, hey, this is somewhere I want to go ahead and take, continue my collegiate career. And when I graduate, people are going to see I have a degree from North Carolina A&T, and they're going to take my diploma seriously. So there's nothing wrong with their investment in themselves. And not only that, but the state of North Carolina, they raised the scales based on the percentages as far as the numbers of the percentage of students that could come in from out of state. Wait a minute. We're on a percentage? We're on a percentage. You get what I'm saying? So we really need to understand how this game is being played with our HBCUs out here as far as how things go when we're looking to go be a part of what they're offering. That's terrible, man. But I'm not done with you, though. I'm not done because, as I stated before, if you really want to talk about underfunding, Coach Prime, you was just at Jackson State, right? You was in the state of Mississippi. Jackson State, Mississippi Valley State, Alcorn State. They're all what? Underfunded. Public endowment was $70 million. The private endowment was $35 million. Now, the sad part about this, once they won this case in the Supreme Court, you would have thought that these schools were going to get their money allocated to them based on the percentages that was put out there that they were supposed to receive it. It didn't happen that way. It didn't happen that way. What they ended up doing was they ended up putting a panel together of 7 people. And one of those people that's on the panel is the actual presidents of the institutions, of each of the colleges. And you had 6 other individuals that's on that panel as well. Not only that, but you have the governor of the state that is the CEO over the monies that's supposed to be allocated to be given back to those institutions. Why am I telling you guys this? Y'all like, Coach, what does this have to do with what Coach Ed Reed did as far as his outburst online talking about HBCUs? Well, daggone it, if we ain't gonna talk about the business part about it, then why are we yelling at this man about what's going on? Because remember one thing, guys, Bethune Cookman was underfunded. They just got $17 million in new money from the state of Florida in 2020. $13 million is going to be given to them, supposedly supposed to be given to them annually. We forgot. Bethune Cookman is what? Privately funded HBCU. Jackson State, Alcorn State, and Mississippi Valley State, publicly funded HBCUs, which they're getting money from, they should be getting the money from the states. But what's so alarming about all of this is the fact that if I told you how much they actually got thus far since that lawsuit, since they won that lawsuit, thus far, the money that they've gotten from that lawsuit, $320,680 is what the 3 schools have gotten allocated to them thus far. There's thresholds that each of the schools must meet in order for them to receive their money. But the $1 million question I have is, are those same thresholds in place at the other schools that's there in the state of Mississippi that are required to have those same parameters in place for them to get their money? I will bet you they're not. And if they are, they're getting their money anyway. So here you have a coach that was there at the university when you said, where's the money? See, I've been sitting on this for a minute now to discuss it. I just didn't know which way to put it. And now I'm just at a point like, you know what, just put it out there, coach. There's no need sitting on this no more. Just put it out there. Because some of this stuff just doesn't make sense. We can talk bad and greasy about how business is done butt backwards in schools, but let's understand the resources. When you don't have the finances and you don't have the resources, what you think is going to happen? When you don't have finances, guess what ends up happening? You cut resources. I understand the fact that you got upset because they didn't come. Coach Reed got upset because something wasn't done on the campus in the manner which he wanted it done. Okay, you talked about the builders had trash. It's trash in the buildings. You out there picking up the trash on the field. Well, guess you're picking up the trash around the field and also around the campus. Well, check this out. Coach Prime picked up trash out there on the field too during a 707 tournament that was held over there at Jackson State last year. Let's talk about the grass. When the grass wasn't cut, Coach Prime went ahead and he brought his lawnmower out there to cut the grass. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do. I'm not saying that at all. But it goes back to what I'm trying to get you to understand. Resources. Heck, you had the issue last year with FAMU, where they didn't have their paperwork into the NCAA in a timely fashion for the football team, in which you had some of those athletes They were not able to play in the Orange Blossom Classic. Resources. The AD left and went where? He went somewhere else. He left the job abruptly and went somewhere else. Went to another day. I think he went to Marshall. So I'm saying to you guys, I'm like, listen, everybody's so quick to want to throw HBCUs under the bus. Talking, oh, they put it out there and let them know that the money is screwed up. Talk about the daggone underfunding. That's what we need to talk about. Talk about the underfunding that's been going on for years. Talk about the underfunding. And y'all, I'm sure somebody sitting there looking like, daggone, coach, you heated today. Listen, man, you see on my show that Morris Brown t-shirt? We just got accreditation back 20 years. From 20 years back, we just got accreditation back. And the crazy part about it is the fact that here you have people on these freaking radio stations here in the city of Atlanta act like Morris Brown has never been here before. You got people that attend daggone Clark Spellman and Morehouse act like Morris Brown ain't never been here before. Clark has a building on Morris Brown campus. Make that make sense. Yeah, I'm feeling some kind of way about all of this. Yeah, I get you, Coach Reed. I understand you upset. Heck, I'm upset by some of the stuff you said. I'm upset by some of the receipts Coach Prime has put out here that's not adding up. We can talk about how the business is off. Yes, we've done some crazy business in the past. I cannot disagree with you on that. But what I'm saying is that if you have the know-how, and before I get into that, I do understand there's some folks that don't want to hear what you have to say when it comes to business. But one thing I said, one thing I've learned one thing that I have learned over time, you can't tell a thousandaire, you heard what I said, a thousandaire can't tell a millionaire how to become a billionaire. A millionaire can tell you how to become a millionaire, and it can possibly lead you in a direction to become a billionaire if they're on that same track to become a billionaire. But a dollarnaire or a thousandaire cannot tell you how to become a millionaire. They can't. They cannot. And if you're sitting here doing backwards business, then yeah, it needs to be called out. But once again, from the contract scenario, me personally, I feel that if you're going to name him, if you're going to drop Coach Reed's name out there saying that he was the new head coach over Bethune-Cookman, contract should be ready. There's no way in the world he should have been head coach and principal. And lastly, you know, daggone signing day is coming within a couple of weeks. Why things are not in order for this coach to get in there to help your school get to where they're trying to go and do better things? Because you already know the football team is going to bring that money, additional revenue, into the institution. Yes, HBCUs need help. Some are willing to get the help. Some are not willing to get the help. And it's understood. Understand this. They have been financially underfunded since the beginning of time. And these states are not trying to give up that money because they want to take that money and allocate it somewhere else. It's time for HBCUs to understand. Rally the troops. Get everyone together to understand that it's time to get your behinds to the polls. You may say, Coach, the polls ain't going to help. But I tell you this. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of watching these folks, who's the popular person going in, winning the daggone seat, and they're representing you, then you stand your behind up and do something about it. That's what's going to happen. You'll finally get tired of it. As I stated before, Coach Reed, you have the light shined on you right now. Coach Prime had that light. He didn't want that light no more. He wanted to go to Colorado. He's over there. We don't owe Uncle Prime no apology. We owe him a thank you. We don't owe him an apology. Why I say we don't owe him an apology? Because guess what? The same thing that Eddie George just did for Tennessee State, I don't know. Did Coach Prime do it for Jackson State? That would have helped Mississippi Valley State? That would have helped Alcorn State? I don't know. Time will tell. I'm sure we'll probably find out on a docuseries or something like that. Or somebody will drop a tweet or something out there saying, hey, man, I don't appreciate you saying this. And Coach Prime, there's no direct shot, no disrespect, any of that. I'm just simply saying that, hey, while you were here, we appreciate you. I thank you. I actually told you I thanked you. I thanked you while you were walking around the stadium and walking around the vet at the Southern University game. I thanked you for what you did. I did. and you did just like this, and you walked on around over to the locker room. I appreciate you, Coach. I'm saying that I don't. But I'm just saying that we're still sitting in the same, we moved a little bit, we moved like this. But we could have been moving. Now's the time for folks to understand that we got to move. We got to move, folks. It's time to get up off your behinds and quit. Hey, all of the finger pointing, naysaying, it's time to change it up. Let's do more. But guys, Coach gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I ain't gonna stay on this too much longer. Like I said before, we've seen the play before, Coach Reed. I just hope that you're coming in here, let the folks know exactly what your plans are, what you're looking to do when you're introduced as the new head coach over at Bethune-Cookman, and not give us give the world a crazy speech in which everybody's gonna be hanging from every word that you're saying, and then when you're ready to go, some of the things that they expected you to, some of the things they expected you to do, they're not done. But until next time, be the one and lead.